Okay, so we left off with the girl journeying north, and we had well, I wanted to redo it. We left off. We're like, okay, now she's going to the compass going north. So we're changing it. We did the A part, and we talked about the lithiometer, which is which means true. Lithi means the true, and it's a meter of truth. And we're connecting everything, and this is the difficult part of all this, is connecting all to all and doing it in fragments. We're going to focus on the compass in the north part of the compass, and but we still can't lose track of what's transpiring here, just to pull things forward. So we have this journey of this young girl, and it's amazing that she's actually seeking, really, she has a not a healthy relationship with her mother or her father, right?
Right.
Yet we know that this scenario of what the language is saying and what the movie is saying, it's going like, really, it's the language of parents. It's the language of reparenting yourself through orienteering correctly. So it really, you can see the separation of the child, and then we can see the fractured relationship in parent. And by no means do I, and I know you know this, but for anyone else that would listen, by no means am I saying that parent is, we have to define what the parental role is correctly, right? Because we can lose sight of, and this is what the world has done a great job of, is we've lost sight of really what mother and father should be doing to establish, because there's an intention to complete the circle, right? We call this globetrotting, right? So there's an intention. Yes, gentle kindness, love is all part of that, but there's also a course of action to mature us so we could comprehend. This is why this has been split, is because none of us fully comprehend Father yet on the Father component. We should comprehend Father. We should have been reared into Father and carrying that mantle already. But because it's all hidden, right? Until Mother does her job correctly, this first half would be Mother, and this side is Father. And this we're gonna and so if this is right, then this is left. Now we're going to start to move into the north. But we need to remember that this is a course of action. And really the world is well acquainted in distraction. And we shared a little bit yesterday about the power of influence. I'm really influencing you. Through degrees, I'm setting seeds. This is all, because you're going to see that the north is all about,
And I've positioned myself for that influence.
yeah, so yeah, there has to be a willingness. And this is where we get consent from. This is where we get mutual consent, because this is a marriage language. Mutual consent is a sovereign language, right? Because true couples are sovereigns, two becoming one. That's a sovereign concept. And you cannot become really one united force without consent. There has to be mutual consent to becoming one. Out of one came two, and then two are coming back to one. That's the whole procedure of marriage, right? You should become one.
Yeah. Okay.
But yet, this consent also has an influence on the negative side. So if there was an intention in time, just say that's in time, and that's the intention, but something happened over here, and if that was a line, and this was an individual standing and walking, right? Something happened where we have an inversion. It's like, it's a declination of walking. Okay, so this is what happened. And so this is all done off of influence. So the intention got hijacked right here, and now we have an influence that's seeking resolve, as this is an influence seeking resolve. Okay? So it should have just been this way, but because I wanted to be careful when I say influence, besides you know my heart for what we're sharing, but for anyone else that would be listening, we need to comprehend that we are simply sharing our perspective but we are well aware that it causes influence. And this is the power of the mind, because influence, this is the subtlety of influence that we were talking a little bit about yesterday, about influence wants to partner with thought. Because as soon as I have a whiff of something, a revelation comes to my mind, I'm now producing the thought. The thought is now connecting to vision. This is where we get the word prognostication from, because now I'm preforming a vision. And my thought is, this is really a form of communication. So my thought process now, if speaking is the lesser dynamic, thought is the high wave frequency. But now in this earth realm, I have to speak out prognostication. This is now creating neuroplasticity, right? New pathways through thought process based off of influence, because we have to go backwards and forwards, because it stems from influence that seeks resolve. And in between, you follow me a little bit? You got squinty eyes. So,
Well, I'm trying to break down what you just said. The influence that seeks resolve.
I'll draw a line for you.
Okay.
If this was influence in, then this would be resolve.
Oh, interesting. Well, how you just broke it up in, and then fluence is, isn't that language,
Yes.
flow?
Yes. That's exactly what you're doing, breaking it down more, through the construct of the Hebrew, and then taking concepts back to origin. If you can't take it to origin, then we're always living in the peripherals, right? We only see the peripherals for what this potential lesser narrative wants us to live in the peripherals of not really doing our due diligence to know source of origin. It's a play on words, because in this world there's a source of origin that allows us to find origin. That allows us to find, because this drawing is multi-dimensional, right? Source, origin,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the atom, it's the beginning. Father, all creator, that is within you. So the influence is the subtlety. I smell popcorn. Man, I want popcorn, right? So now it's producing a thought.
Yeah.
That the thought now is, what happens when the thought is connected with the influence?
And this is how even advertisements.
Right.
And
So what happens when we have influence? I wasn't thinking that, but all of a sudden it's put before me. I'm now thinking about it. My thought is now connecting the dots, and now I'm creating desire and longing that can only be completed when I connect it to an action seeking its resolve. Right? That's what we're doing.
Okay.
The inversion is well acquainted in that, and they too know. They too know that influence is a powerful tool. It's not a brick in the face. So I'm your resolve.
the inverse will use it towards attaching to the material, the more base elements.
Right. Versus the lift of spiritual concepts that allow you to comprehend who you really are. Right? And so who you really are,
Higher nature.
Aleph, Tav, Hey, Atah, which means in Hebrew, you. You need to know who you are. You are one. You are Atah. You are one who is sealed in love, who is sealed in love's revelation. That's you. That is the completion Atah. So we're talking about you. I'm just simply sharing potential influence that allows you to connect with thought with one. So you would know the family of the Aleph Tav, beginning and end, by building it through revelation. Behold, hey, you are the Aleph Tav as one. The language goes back and forth. So I'm simply giving you influence. So we're going to build. We need to build something. What are we building?
So you are the Aleph Tav, the beginning and the end.
Do you believe that the component of mother and father is contained within you? It's a rhetorical question you don't need to answer, but really, I would answer myself. I say yes, because of what I'm seeing, what I'm partnering with. my neuroplasticity is based on creating a reality. Neuroplasticity is when I comprehend the influence of what I partner with, I become a summational total of measure. You've heard this language with us before.
Say it again, please.
I'm a summational total of measure. What I choose to partner with, I become. Influence by design or intention. Both work, but one is an inversion and one is right side up, as one is inverted, one is upside right. Right? 6 to a 9.
What I choose to partner with.
If I'm going to eat McDonald's, then most likely that I am going to become a measure whatever I am ingesting, right? So I'm gonna then be a summational measure of whatever ingredients are in that food, right? I'm gonna benefit or not based off of a summational agreement. Because remember, we started this out with mutual consent. Transaction of power and authority is only given through mutual consent. That is one of the base pillars of sovereignty.
Transaction.
You are already, what did I just say you were? You are a top, olive top. Okay? Now, now this actually word can morph too. It actually goes atom. And we should start to see a theme here, because this atom, and I know this is a lofty concept. I know that for people that don't comprehend, keep it simple. Keep it really simple. So this tom means twin. Okay? And it also means a duplicate, a mirror, right? So we have a mirror here, olive top, mirrored, tom. And it also means plural. So twin, plural, more than one, tom.
So Tom also equates to a mirror.
Well, I'm just saying it from where we are in comprehension is it should be, this resolve is looking for a reflection of similitude. You, ata, are walking towards, right? And this grows, that black dot, as we talked before, it will grow exponentially as you get closer to it. The mirror, you start to see a clearer reflection of the intention, right? So this is the language of twinning, mirroring. It's the same concept. There is already an influence that has an intention. You have to walk it out, right, to seek the resolve. You have to wrestle your own
So
resolve.
partnering really with the higher version of yourself.
Mutual consent.
Mutual consent with the higher self.
But you first have to realize that there's a higher self, because most are walking in declination.
I feel like you can partner with elements of your higher self in the earth, like teachers,
Yes.
who are in a higher vibrational frequency.
Right. Absolutely. This is called course of action. Course of action to maturity versus declination. And now my point is this, because we're talking about the north still, but I'm trying to paint a picture. It's like, I brought this for you to show you. This starting point, 2D. You got this 2D thing going on, right? And this is all about the building, right? This is the bed top, right? I'm building, this is bet, the second letter of the olive bet. And we've already gone into, that was taken from the garden, was the template to build. So we're going back to the garden, because you are the garden. So we're given a 2D rendering. These are just all 2D. Right? Writing.
I see. Okay. The shorthand is the 2D.
Shorthand is 2D until you're able to assemble it through maturation, through maturity, course of action. Right? I'm now taking the 2D, bet, building. Now this is just a really basic temple. There we go. So now I built the intention, right? Waiting for contents.
Okay.
I am now a container that is built.
Building.
You're building the temple, right? However you want to draw it. Triangle, pyramid, house, it doesn't matter. In Hebrew it's the bet, it means to build, and it means family. Because we're still talking about the girl and her golden compass. And her golden compass is the first stages of what she's looking. What does she want? She's looking for the dust. She wants to know what the dust is. I made you out of the dust, and I was
So rich, I didn't connect.
and I was breathed, or I breathed life into your nostrils. Macro, micro, everything is macro, micro. The narrow way, the nostril passage is the narrow way, the mouth is the broad way. This is the breathe, the breath. So we were talking about the north. So and this is still about connecting in the old paleo, right? This is atomic. This is the split. This is the proper dividing of Tom, the atom. What did I just say? So I just said you. Aleph, Tav. As I said, hey, which means you. The same spelling for that word is Aleph. You can Morse, Tav, final mem. The twin. The splitting of the atom. Light. But in our world, in declination, that's atomic. That is an explosion.
Are we, just a question, are we currently existing in the split atom?
We are currently existing in the split atom.
And what the inverse has done is split the split.
You've been separated from the garden. Your higher self from your lower self, the mother from the father, the mysterious from revealing itself in the walk. You must walk to find yourself so you can become no longer split, one again. Light has been split.
I see, so the light came out of the dark? Is that?
Read what I just had you read Genesis 1:1 and 1:2.
In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth was without form and void. Void means absence.
Void is an absence, but read the next verse, 1:2.
And darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, which would be the dust, wouldn't it? The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters, and God said, let there be light, and there was light, and God saw the light, and it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness.
He divided the light from the darkness.
Wow, very interesting.
So now we have the dark, and then he separated it, and upon we have light. We have separation. Doesn't matter. Upon just is upon, right? So now we have separation of light
Wow.
and dark. The atom was split. There was a void. We need to equate this now as mother and father components. Because you, if we don't comprehend you, which is why I brought it up, Aleph Tav, in the beginning, Aleph Tav, it's the second or third word. Bereshit, Aleph Tav, in the beginning. Okay, it's right there. It's the first occurrences in Genesis 1:1. Aleph Tav. So, Aleph Tav, hey, guess what? Revelation, behold, you're the Aleph Tav. You may not be the full version of it yet because you've been split. To become one again, you're going to have to journey. You're going to have to globetrot. You're going to have to circumnavigate around your life journey to find wholeness again, to know light and dark are the same thing. But they've been split for a reason. So what's the reason? Because this goes right to the tree of good and evil. What this girl is looking for with the golden compass is mother. She's seeking the guidance and the directions of mother so she can connect to the lofty of father, who has now gone behind the veil. He's been now removed and he's in a whole different world. So she's seeking now, she's globetrotting, seeking her father. So he's gone behind the veil. So he's now hidden from her. And now mother is chasing her, saying like, she wants the relationship. But remember, this is full representation of parental guidance. And the compass is how you do it, because the compass is based off of the Aleph Bet. Because it's the beginning and end, Aleph Tav. The first and the last, the 122. 122, Adam. Strong's 122 is Adam, by the way. So is 121. But and now that just plays out that way. So but and I know that's atom and not atom, but when you put the twins back together, that's why atom, tav, final mem, tome, there's the twin. So now the twins are put back together as one Adam, a new man. The new man has been made as one again, Adam, through the tome, through the twins, the mirroring. I know it's a lot. Stick with me. Don't try to overthink it.
Okay.
So remember, you're looking for resolve. How are we going to find the resolve? Through the influence that connects to the thought. The thought then produces the desire seeks an outcome, therefore it wants to connect. This is where we get lust and desire. This is why that even looking at certain things, I'm now thinking about it.
Right.
I'm building now this tension that seeks release. Mm-hmm. How do you release? By connecting the thought to the desire to the resolve, which is action. This is a transference of energy that is connected to create what? A reality. I am only and can only be a summational total of that which I partner with that produces the measure.
But we can find a way to fix to the divine.
By how? You're doing it through your program. Mother, which is in a vernacular, we're talking neuroplasticity, right?
Well, being teachable.
Being teachable, right. But being teachable means that if there's a willingness to partner with mutual consent to become mother, this is graduation that allows you to see father. Because if the circle is the circle, this is a complete circle right there. And now we're just going to draw it another way. Well, it can be a temple, right? It can be drawn so many ways. But now we're going to make it look like a compass. We're going to take this and simply make it look like a, see if I can, there we go. Some kind of a compass. And now we need to point to, because everything has to be broken down, because mother's compass is showing increments, right? Degrees of becoming. It's pointing to a direction. It's calibrated to due north. But yet we still have to journey through the journey of becoming. That's what it's all about. And so there's many influences in the world, but what are we partnering with to produce the measure? That's why the hand, the means, this is the power, the yod. The yod is power, means, and direction. Mm-hmm. That vav is established sovereignty. So this is the compass, the power, means, and direction that points to sovereignty. Sovereignty is having the willing consent to partner with an influence that directs you to an intention.
Sorry, say that again.
The yod is the power, means, and direction that is pointing you so you mutually consent with the intention. The intention is that these two would become one again.
To be connected, okay.
But you can only see the shadow.
Just to bring yourself back in together.
You can only see the shadow through the light. Mother is the compass that sheds light on the dark. so you'd know what the dark is. We're talking good and evil, light and dark, adversity, resolve, affliction, right? Journeying to find.
So that's, even in the show we're watching, what Lyra is doing is shedding light on the dark. Her whole journey is to discover what dust is, the dark matter.
To know what dark matter is, right? And she's realizing that, I believe at the end, I haven't seen it, but I believe at the end of it, because just the dynamics of how I'm seeing going, like they're gonna realize it's all based on family. That's family. The bet in Hebrew, which is to build, family. Bet, right? Because the bet is, bet. And the only thing it's missing, because there's the second and the 22nd letter. So now the only thing missing is one, the family of one, the olive. Sorry, I did that as an X, but, right? So this is the strong family. This is now you've connected, you've built it. What have you built? You've built, now the Father comes in as one, that equates to one. It would slip in. The bet doesn't need to be there anymore because you built it, you built family, and so now the olive can slip in. You're now the olive top. Because you built the box. Building is waiting for the filling of one. Through the gentle journey of becoming, through calibration, partnering with this, partnering with that, through the influence of what I see, I'm seeking truth through the alethiometer, right? Truth equates to faith. Truth equates to revealing what is hidden.
In that process, you're structuring yourself. You're
2D, structure. You've gone 3D now, and you're waiting for a dimension that's outside of this to fill you, but it's waiting for the vehicle or the vessel to be able to contain it. If you can't contain it, there's no point. You haven't built the intention through the influence that's pointing to the resolve, the sovereign stand of revelation. This, by definition of what I just said, that hay is mercy. This is mercy to do this. This defines mercy. This hay over here, because the last hay of the book of Revelation is the book, behold, Revelation, this is judgment. But not in a negative sense. This is the merciful act of self-adjudication. Knowing what is and what is not, finding good from evil, separating out. I've circumnavigated to become, to build, bet tov, so I can become one again. I have discerned correctly, I applied wisdom, and now through the merciful act of self-adjudication, I have become one. I willingly consent with the process. I am influenced by choice, Barashit. I choose the intention of my mother and father to be knit as one again. Through the walk of the soles of my feet, I am sandaled to be cloaked in the garment of my Father. I stand in tunic and sandals as one completed being. Now we need to ask how. This is very, very powerful. We've missed this. We take judgment as a negative. We take mercy for granted. We don't know. We only take it for granted is because how do you reach to restore if there's ignorance to neglect? We just don't know. We do not know which we do not know, so how can we become that which we do not know? But when it is revealed, Revelation, behold, take the hand of Mother. I will direct you so you can hold the hand of Father, where you can stand between us as one, perfect love and harmony, balanced as a completed vessel of intention. Mother loves you, Father loves you, but Mother needs to teach you the way of Father so you comprehend us both as a mirror. You mere Father and you mere Mother. You are the offspring, you are the seed of desire. And we desire you to be in the similitude and the likeness of one. as we are one. Comprehend?
Follow.
It's a beautiful message, and you're on the journey. How are you doing it? Through neuroplasticity, you are looking at the 2D language that is three-dimensionally changing you. It's building you, ata, so you can become tom, twinned. Standing between the mirror of mother, or the mirror of father and the mirror of mother. And both of them reflect back to you to keep you vibrating at that high frequency. Mother is seeking accountability. When you're accountable to mother, she then presents you to father. And father would say, well done, I simply put my garment on you, my mantle on you, because you have equated to mother's measure. That's the importance of the compass. It's the only way we can get to father, to see behind the veil of what is hidden, the dark. Now let's see what the dark is, because this is a riddle. I've already shared a little bit with this. That was spirit right there. I could feel it. So that was all download. I've already deciphered it, but that was for you to comprehend without getting tangled into verses. Not that the verses are tangled, but because they speak very clear when you're able to know mother's language. They are very clear in the becoming. But it's coded in a riddle specifically because it needs to be extracted. It's the extraction process that produces the measure, because we've just established it, right? That I become that which I unveil. This is seeking in the dark. This is what it's all about. You're unearthing, excavating, forensically digging and extracting out yourself. It is easy as it is difficult. Because everything's an oxymoron. If it's difficult, it's going to be difficult. Like everything though, I watch you play the guitar. I'm going, dang, that's difficult. My focus isn't there, but I know, as you know, that without the practice, you're not going to become efficient. Correct?
Right.
Okay. So let's look at the word riddle. I'm not going to go too far into it, but you need to know riddle means dark speech. That's what it breaks down to. Hebrew, and it's het, yod, dalet, hey. Interesting. Separate yourself by the compass, because this yod right here is, we just already, that's the mother's hand, right?
Separate yourself by the compass.
By the power, means, and direction, separate yourself up. Well, you tell me, you have a good handle now on what the head is, right? It's an enclosure. It's a fenced-in area. You've separated, it means separation. I've separated myself from what? I've tried to present that if we're in the inversion of a negative intent, then we're walking in declination, whoa, I need to stop and turn and start walking in inclination. It's back to the intention.
Right. Yeah.
So, right? So you need to separate yourself from, if you don't know you're in it, how can you get out of it, right? You first need to realize you're in something. And if you're not in the right thing, then prudence would say, I need to move in a direction to be partnering with that of right. Right? So separate yourself by the power, means, and direction, the vision of the door that shows you the revelation of, that's a riddle, of the riddle, dark speech. You're revealing, behold, a revelation of something that's hidden. We've just shown that mother is open, the compass, but father is still hidden. Father's not revealed yet because you don't know mother yet. So how could you know father? Because you're still finding father. This is why the world's going, I don't know God so well. No, none of us really do, because none of us have fully equated mother correctly. This is the bear, right? To return to father. She is the guardian bear that guards upstream, and the only way to pass her gate is to equate as her frequency, calibrating the compass. So a riddle is dark speech, and now we want to shed light on the riddle. It also means, it's in Daniel, it means difficulty to understand, mysterious, puzzling enigma, right? It means a difficult problem as a Gordian knot. No beginning and no end. That is really a Gordian knot. But what we have to do is we got to figure a way to untether an end. We got to loosen an end, so we can at least start pulling on the string.
Yeah, and how do you do that within this?
You're doing it right now. It also means to be enclosed.
Okay, pull on one end of it. Yeah.
It also means it roots down. So I can go many ways. It's kuf tet resh. Tet means choice, right? Choose. So we have compression by choice produces the head, right? The kuf, and this is now the modernized Hebrew, but we know that compressing in the circle of time, that's the Paleo Hebrew of it, right? So now, and this would be light and dark, right? There's the horizon. We can see the sun coming up at this, like, in the circle of time, compress, you need to compress by choice. This will allow the head to rise, so you can see correctly, right? And this is to speak in riddles. It also means incense, thick smoke and cloud, and then it goes an act of worship. This is the sacrifice. The riddle is the worship. Uncovering the riddle is defined as worship because it's an act of activation. Transfer of energy will not happen until it's connected to activation, right? Change will not happen without activation. It's the divine exchange of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be destroyed, it can only transfer. Transfer to what? Because we've already established you become that which you partner with. And mother and father have an intention for you to become an intention. When you look at the origin of north, because we're going to talk about the compass. It's a bad compass, but there's north, east, south, west. We're going to focus on the north. Okay. When you look at definition and you go into anyone can do this, and you look up the word origin of the word north. It means left. That's what north means. So if we have left, we have a right. So now this is why we can see that this circle, this is the north. Now, this is the left. This is father's side. So south would automatically equate as, now but again, it's like, well, why do they call it north, right? Well, let's look at the Hebrew word. It's 840, Strong's 840. I'll put it here, 840. And it is simul. And this is the word for left. And in the Hebrew, it also says, what? The north. Interesting. In Hebrew. That's the word for left, and it means the north. When you look up the origin in English, and you punch in origin of the word north, anyone can do this, it's going to say left. That word roots down to, if you want to write that down too, that word roots down to 8071, same spelling, Shin Mem Lamed Hey. So there's no piercing in here now, because this one would be pierced, and it means mantle.
8071.
8071. It means garment, mantle, raiment, whatever you want to say. So now you have garment, mantle from the left.
So it's covering.
Covering.
Okay, north is the covering.
North is the covering.
Right.
It also roots down to Samek Mem Lamed, and it means similitude and likeness. Right?
Sandals, and so mother would be the sandals, and father would be the tunic.
Mm-hmm.
Or the covering, or the mantle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Think of even on the ephod of the priests, right? They had the ephod, the 12 stones, and then on one side of the shoulder, they had a black stone, and the other, they had a white stone. And the priest stood in the center, knowing mother and father, and on his chest he wore the ephod. The priest's job is to know mother and father and stand as a representation of mother and father. Yod He Vav He, because it's a template. This 80-40, it means, it also means, so that what I gave you, that 80-40, that one, first one I gave you, because we can work on that, that means left. It also means dark, north, right? Left hand.
Okay. Left hand, that also means sinister.
Yeah, well, it can be. Remember, this is simply, now this is even where we get, and we're not going to go into that right now because we're still working on the north, what she's finding. She's finding what evil is through the journey of good. Because this is the Yod He, right? This is that right there. This is this side. This is Yod He. This would be, this is the lofty. This is the width. This is the height. Yod He Vav He. This is the left, the dark, the northern, the left hand. Mother is the right hand. There's your two hands right there. That's what they mean. There's your right hand and your left hand. But you have to comprehend the revelation and the revelation to stand in between to become the priesthood. To become a standing one, Kum, from Qumran, they were standing ones that would have known this revelation to say, you're going to have to walk through inculcation. Take your heel and put your heel in front of the other heel and walk in the journey, step upon step, foot upon stone, separating, right? Flesh, sinew, and bone. It's the separation of knowing. That's just from an old poem I wrote. But. So the left. Now, really interesting. So, and I'm just giving you what? Influence. I'm not making any decision for you. I'm simply giving you potential for you to make a choice what you want to make a choice with. Okay. You're watching the show. You asked me the question. Now, really interesting. If we look at the word, Shin, Het, Resh, it also means dusk, black, and it means to look early or diligently. And there's one occurrence of this, and this is in Job 7:21, and this is what it says. In the dust you will seek me.
The dust or the dusk?
Dust. In the dust you will seek me. Job 7:21. To look early and diligently. That's what the word means. Through the consuming fire in the walk of mother, you will separate out to become the risen head. Right? This is the dust. This is the and it tethers to look early in the morning, in the dusk of the hours, before the sun has arisen. You are seeking the Father in the dark, waiting for the sun to arise. This is one who anticipates much, who knows, I'm seeking my Father in the early hours. And then in Job, they equate it as, in the dust, you will seek me. I'm the dust. You're the dust. We have breath in us, and in the dust, we seek Mother and Father. The compass is within you. When we go into our center, we're able to extrapolate out the code from within. When you partner with the code long enough, you are the code. All I need to do is center myself, and I know it because I've handled it intimately. Okay?
Yeah, that's where I feel like it's going on the show right now, possibly too, it feels like. She spent enough time with the compass to calibrate. It's an internal thing now. It's becoming...
It's an internal thing. She should know. It either is or it isn't, right? That's the head. You know what is and what is not. Okay, so let's now talk about a little bit about the north again. Safan. Safan is a word. Zadi Pei Vav Nun. But Safan means, let's just we already shared that the truth tethers to the compass that she's holding. Truth, lithiometer means true, and in the Greek it's 227, and it means true, and that roots to 2990, and that's talking about hidden. It's talking about hidden. The compass calibrates to the hidden, and then that goes to 1, which is aleph in the Hebrew, or omega in the Greek, and that equates to 1, and then and that equates to in the Strong's one, that's Father. So it equates from the Greek over to English. So Strong's is telling you Father is hidden. You're going to have to know north, which is the left. We've already decided that. So this is the Zaphon, and this means dark. I'm establishing to share with you. There's a difference between the dark and the light, but we don't need to fear the dark. It is simply unknown. It's the riddle. It's the dark speech. Until we decipher the riddle, it reveals itself as the light. Through what? Through the intimate work of Mother's compass, it reveals the revelation of the riddle, so you would know the dark saying. You are the riddle, Jesse. You're the riddle. What are you doing? You're resolving the riddle by finding yourself. Through neuroplasticity, I found the pathway. When I know what I know, I can now speak prognostication, throw the stone down from my mouth and put my foot upon the revelation of resolve.
This is resolving desire, resolving the tension.
This is how you create a reality. Your reality. It's not my reality. I've given you the freedom to discern. My job is to be what to you? Father when I'm father, and mother when I'm mother. I comprehend this. And if I comprehend the reality, does that qualify me to be? In this temporal form, it does. In a lesser degree, until this is established in the full intention, which is yet to come, I am simply, the prophets would have known this. I'm not calling myself a prophet, I'm simply calling myself a measure of intention. Whatever degree that may be on my compass, I simply am that in my moment. A summational total that has become acquainted with my measure, therefore here I stand, cum, as one, until my tomorrow and a greater is given. The same goes for you and for everyone else. Question would be, what are you partnering with? Influence creates thought. Thought creates desire. Desire seeks commitment to act out so I can connect it, therefore creating the reality. Right? So this word, Zaphon, this right there is desire. Desire, hunt and chase, the mouth that would speak the language of sovereignty while you're in the earth, full and new.
Okay.
Zaphon, dark, seek the dark. Desire the dark, but you can only desire the dark through the light. This isn't manipulated and turned upside down. Dark, bad.
The dark.
Evil too is only a word. As Yeshua, as light, as dark, they all have to have mutual consent to partner with them. Do you comprehend that?
Sorry, say that again. I was kind of...
North, left, right, mother, father, evil, good are simply frequencies that are nouns. They are static, waiting for activation. Evil is no more evil. It's only a frequency. Mm-hmm. It only becomes an act when you commit the influence to the intention of thought through the desire of completing something to the act to resolve, right? And then incrementally, evil can grow. So evil is seeking commitment. This is where we get the committed act of evil, and we define that evil's murder. No, it is simply a word and a frequency that has been thought through, influenced in a certain way. Now we're going to go into some deep stuff, because really what evil means is affliction that is being filled up. So if you're not emptying it out, how do you...
Suffering. Going deeper, boring deeper and deeper into suffering.
Into it, but there's already a resolve. What's the resolve? The resolve is Mother has already, by the infinite wisdom of all source...
But by going the other way, in the...
But if this was the dividing line between good and evil, this incrementally empties you out, so you can be filled back up to know what evil is.
So emptying ourselves out of the affliction.
But if you come this way and you start joining, going this way,
We're going deeper and deeper.
you're
into
going
affliction.
deeper and deeper into the affliction, because this is how you empty yourself out. This is the purpose path, right? The right-hand path. But if you go into this, it is simply, you can sit there and gather all this evil, which is only affliction, but it has to be resolved. This is why the nations rage. Mothers, this is so above, so below, so within, so without. Father the hidden above, mother is in the earth below. The purpose below is that you would wrestle inside. The affliction is within you. It's not necessarily with you. My affliction is to do with myself. You may be a catalyst to me in what I haven't done correctly. You may say something, but if I've navigated my journey correctly, your words really have ill effect. I process and going, that's simply your perspective. And I appreciate your perspective. Thank you very much. You see me in that perspective. Lofty or limited, that's what you see, because you're a summational total of that grants you the ability to see your perspective. I may not see your perspective. If you're beyond and you're lofty and I'm lower, I can't see your perspective. I see potential, but I only can see what I can see based on my summational measure. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have to willingly consent to go one way or the other, partner with the thought process, commit to the act, and then call it an act of evil. Because it's only through affliction that produced the measure. But now I'm going like, okay, so now I can see it correctly.
But it was your choice.
But it's Barashit. First word in the scripture. Choose. Rashit. Barashit, bara. In the beginning. Your Genesis is in choice. Barashit, bara. So everything is hidden. Now this Zaphon, it goes to the dark. So this goes to 6845. And it's spelled the exact same way without the Vav. So we have the Zada. Pay. No. Desire to speak, to have the mouth so you can prognosticate while in the earth. And this means this is to hide by covering over. And it also means specifically to project. So desire to speak, project while you're in the earth, the hidden. Because it also means to hide by covering. So this is hidden, this side of it, but you can find it by going this way, and then this is the desire of speech while in the earth, is projecting what was hidden. Same word, Zaphon, the dark. Desire the dark. Speak the riddle while in the earth. While in the earth, you will be the spoken word of desire. Goes both ways. No right, no wrong to it. You just need to, and I'm only skipping a stone through the depth of the language because it goes really deep. Because this is the deep in the beginning, Genesis 1:2. This is the dark in the deep. The deep is directly connected to the hidden. This is the deep.
Okay. Father.
Right. So north is hidden, north is dark.
North might be sinister to some. I haven't looked at the definition
Well,
of that, but it would make sense that, like in the show we're watching, the Catholic Church, they consider the dark sin, so it would be the sinister element to them.
It's the sinister element, we've already established that, it's the sinister element to those that partner with the act, but obviously they haven't gone, if this is based off of sovereignty, which is really the fullness of meekness. That's sovereignty by definition, power and control. Yod, power, means, and direction. Humility. So this is the power. Meekness is power and control. This teaches you to humbly steward the power of sovereignty, which is meekness, which is authority. This grants you the authority, the means to the purpose. The means of this hand is to show you, because the yod is power, means, and direction, that shows you the revelation of humility is to steward humility, power and control. That's the authority.
Yeah, it prepares you.
So this is power, and that's authority. This grants you the authority. This is the cloak that you are mantled now in the authority to wield the power. Why? Because you become one through circumnavigation, globetrotting in your journey of
Act
life.
worship.
This is the journey of your life. This is the journey of everyone's life, is to become the intention. Wrestle away through the affliction of knowing what is and what is not. Through what? Through evil. Just means affliction. So you're wrestling through affliction to find the resolve. Now, this is. I knew we'd be stuck on the north for a while because of what it means, but so we have to break it down. But the north also means Mezorah, and it's I don't need to spell it, but it's Mem Zayin Resh He, and it really means to scatter, and it also means compass. And so now we have north. So from the north, there still was a compass, but it's like scattered seed. So the seed was scattered, and from this place of the north. So in the language, you can see that there was an act of committing that you still have to find this. And the amazing part of that word is it connects to 2224, Zarak, and that means to rise. So this word more is to, I'm going to throw the seed, now arise, right? So now we have the plow and the sword, choose, right? Because one is plow, one is sword. You're going to have to sow the seed to ripen, to raise the stalk to grow, so you can be the head that knows what is and what is not. So that's rising. And that is directly connected, interestingly, to the east. So the north and the east are connected. Now, didn't want to spend too much on that, but because I wanted to go into this one word. The word morphs a little bit, as they all do, but this is all journey language. This actually moves down into Nazar, which means to consecrate yourself. So now we have the north, and it also means, from the same root, it means from Mezorah, it means a constellation. The north constellation. What does constellation mean when you break down the origin of constellation? It means star. So now we have the north star, the left star. The constellation is directly connected to north. So like, interesting, right? And then we have it connected to separate and constellation. And then it roots down even further. It means to flow and to trickle. So while in the earth, it means Nun Zayin Lamed. Nun Zayin Lamed. Risen as the plow and the sword, as the teacher, right? So this is a trickle effect. You cannot become the measure of a full measure until you learn partial. This is how you steward maturity. This is all maturation in becoming the completed vessel of intention. I'm blowing through a lot of stuff on purpose. I'm just throwing you stuff because I know we're limited for
I felt
time.
that though.
Pardon me?
I felt that one.
You did?
I just
Good.
felt it was.
Good. So now let's look at polar. What does the word polar? Because now we're talking vortex language of polar, because the show is talking about polar, and polar is a north and south polemic. Polar means heaven. That's what polar means. By the origin of definition in English, you can look up heaven. We know it as Shemayim in Hebrew, right? So now let's do this. So now we have a polar bear, right? So now we have a polar bear, so we have a heavenly bear. So we have a language of, and the bear breaks down a little bit, because bear breaks down to black. The definition of bear means black.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you. Okay.
And now it means either brown, dark brown, or black. It's used for both. So it's a very dark brown or it's black. So now we have heaven is black. Polar bear, heavenly black. Left. So I'm trying to tell you why we shade this off, and it also means hidden. So the left, let's just see what the left, hidden, black, bare, heaven, what else did we say? Hand, left hand.
Gotta go back into my chart.
Do you know what the definition of Arctic is?
You said that was bear.
It is. But I just told you what bear was. Bear is black. Arctic means, by the origin of the word Arctic, it means bear. And Antarctic means no bears. So Arctic really means black. All right, there we go, black again. The hidden. And if you want to look up the Strong's root for bear, it's in 2345. That means darkened. And interesting enough, it's got this, it's het, vav, mem, and it's almost a chum. Right? It's almost kum, but it's the kum. So it could be kum, and we know kum means to stand, but yet this is het, vav, mem. So it means blackish. Okay, so now we have the north, and now this is, we're going to try to close this up pretty quick here. Now this north, the North Star, is where we have, in the Hebrew, it goes to 5906, and it's Ayish, Ayin, Yod, Shin, and that is the root for Arcturus, and it means Ayish. The constellation of Arcturus is knowing the hand of the twin. This is the twin. This means twin fire, the twin front teeth. Knowing the hand that has consumed you. That is the constellation of Arcturus. And what does the constellation of Arcturus mean? In Arcturus, what does Arcturus mean?
Arcturus. Well, something dark.
Arcturus means the Great Bear. So we have Arcturus now that's connected to the black, to hidden, the left-hand side. We have a language here of the bear means black, so this could also mean the Great Black, right? Because we already know it's the Great Bear.
Yeah.
So that's Arcturus. We know Arctic means bear, and it's all connected with this hidden side. And we could probably end up here that root roots down at 5789. I just find this stuff fascinating. So the knowing, the all-seeing eye, that's the ayin in Hebrew, is the power, means, and direction that consumes you. Or this is a consuming fire, Father. So it can, however you want to translate that, this is Ayish, and it means the constellation, perhaps the Great Bear, and it's from and there's only two occurrences of this, both in Job. Interesting. The first one is in Job 9, verse 9. It talks about the great constellation. The nines are powerful.
Right.
And then that roots down to, this is part of the last word we can do. So, and this goes to Ayin, Vav, Shin, Ush. And that means to lend aid, come and help. One occurrence of that
So by our partnering with.
and that's what it means.
Okay, that's cool. By our partnering with, by coming into agreement with our higher self, which could be in so many different variations, in so many different forms, we assemble ourselves and we help ourselves.
There's help on the outside assisting us, but absolutely, by knowing this, you're assembling this. And this could be written so many ways. It's just,
assembling the atom. Yes.
you're assembling the atom. In this, I highly recommend you look at in the Strong's 2020. It means deliverance. I mean, we just came out of the year 2020, and then look at the Strong's 2021. It means weapons of war. But our weapons are not carnal. Our weapons are spiritual weapons. So we are building, this is the Merkabah. This is the chariot throne. This is everything. This is the temple. This is the Bet Tov. This is built. We are waiting for this to be constructed when the Father can then reveal himself, no longer hidden in the dark. What comes on is the filling of the box because it's been created. Now it gets indwelt. And in the end, it says the Father will reign on the just and the unjust. He reigns on them both. He will seal them where they are by a summational total of their ingathering. He comes in to meet us where we are. When time is done, time is done. When we see the compression and the signs of compression, we are going to be measured as a summational total of what you've ingathered to partner with to become an intention through inclination, or not the intention through inversion, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or inclination. But the intention is to be completed back to one again. Not right, not wrong. I'm not pointing fingers in either way. But these ones, this is where we get the language of white adorned in black. These are the robes of adjudication. So our honor system, our high courts are adorned in black. The white pope and the black pope. He's calling himself the completed Father through the white robe of the journey. Now the black pope is like, I'm the black pope. I call myself Father now. I wear the robe of your honor. But you only get it, because this, we already broke this down, this is the garment and the mantle, only by the journey of the sole of the foot, inclination, or not inclination, through inculcation, which means the heel, the journey, right? Partnering with the resolve, committing to the act of the influence that you know the intention of completion. This is huge. So assemble yourselves. Know the sovereign act of becoming pierced. This being in the center, this would equate as humility and meekness as one. Right, that vav, that center vav right there. One who knows meekness's sovereign act by being fully consumed in the fire. That is an assembled one. And well, we may as well go one other word, because this is one of your words. You love this word, I know you do. And we'll just end here. And it's the same dynamic. It morphs a little bit. It's not from the root, but it's very close proximity, and it justifies itself. And that is sustain. Through knowing meekness, now you're the tav, you're the file, sealed. That would be sealed, and that is sustainable. This is sustainability. And that is, so the word I just showed you was 5789, ut, to lend help, to assemble yourself. This is 5790. But this word right here is from, it doesn't say, this not, the word I just gave you, that was the root. But this word is from 5789. Assemble yourselves. And this, not just sustainable, this means how to speak. And this ties to the mighty, by the way. This word directly ties to Oz when you look it up. I'm not going to do it for you. But so now you have sustainability. You have through the polar star, through the bear, through the black, seek the compass to show you the way north, the left-hand path. Now we're going to do the right-hand path tomorrow, but we just showed you black, hidden, riddle, evil, but yet only affliction. It's purpose. You don't go into the black. It's going to afflict you. You don't know to resolve the riddle. The way to resolve has already been made for you, and it's called the way of white. It's called the right-hand path. This is what Yeshua showed us. I want to make sure people comprehend that. This would be the way of the Kabbalists, always living on this side, the negative side of that you're going into the mysterious side without shedding light. I never want to speak a riddle. I don't want the riddle to be a riddle. I want to shed light on the riddle, to say that let's reveal this so it's not hidden. This cannot become whole unless it's revealed to know there's a way to go. It's not by me saying this and then therefore you are. Influence produces the thought produces, right, the desire to become. The desire seeks activation. The activation commits you to the resolve. You cannot become without the energy transacting, transmutation into completion of act. I see it, I enact it in my day, I speak it, I now know sustainability versus what is unsustainable. Humility is sustainable. Ego is not. The narcissistic nature of ego is unsustainable, and it draws from what is sustainable. That's how it is sustained. But when this is realized, we'll realize that, oh, this is unsustainable. But they're feeding off of this, off the impasse in the earth. They're feeding off what is sustainable. We are food to them, to the ego, and to the narcissistic nature. I know that. That's why I choose how I engage with people. Go, no, you get nothing from me. I willingly consent to give you this, but if you try to draw me into the snare, I'm like, no, thank you very much. I'm not going to do that. I'll always shed light on what I need to shed light on, because I know what to partner with through what I can see. So I choose. Bara. Bara, 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 bara. Tat. To know the sovereign stand of love is sustainable. And I'll leave it at that. Good?
Yeah. Super good. Thank you.